Good morning, everyone. God bless you all. So today we're gonna talk about healthy relationships. Um, it's very important to me to talk about this topic because it is something that is necessary to have a fulfilling life. We have relationships with everyone. No one can live alone in this world. Actually, we were not created to live alone. So we have to have relationships with different people around us, our jobs, our families, our friends, acquaintances. So it's very important to talk about healthy relationships. Why? Because that is one of the foundations of having a happy life. If you're not having healthy relationships, if you're not relating in a healthy way, in a safe way with people around you, what's going to happen is you're going to have what people call toxic relationships. And unfortunately, toxic relationships is one of the main bases to have an unfulfilling, unhappy life. So to me, healthy relationships is one of the four main issues that I work with. The first one being how to be resilient. Our self-esteem is also very important to work, and you know, building that person that you truly want to be, building that person that you want to show the world, showing yourself as you truly are, a healed person without any issues from the past, working your inner child, healing your inner child so you can stop passing on the bad um, situations or the bad behaviors that were learned or that were taught or that were practiced with you as you were little. So those are four things that I concentrate on when I work as a life coach with my clients, which are inner child, how to heal the inner child, how to be resilient, right? Our self-esteem, and lastly, how to have healthy relationships. So today, we're gonna talk about healthy relationships, what they are. First of all, you all know that I like to pray before I start my workshops. I like to present everything we do to the Lord so He can be the one guiding us, so He can be the one working with us, so He can be the one showing us the areas that we need to work on in order to live the fulfilling, happy life He created us to have. So let's, take a minute and pray. Lord, thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for giving us a brand new day where we can have better lives, where we can be better than what we were yesterday. Lord, be our guidance. Show us the areas where you want us to work on. Heal our past and make us people truly witnesses of you, Jesus, that show the love, the patience, the compassion that you show to everyone. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, so let's start. Let's start real quick. So the first thing we're going to do today, we're going to define what healthy relationships are. Where healthy relationships are those relationships where you can be yourself. Yes, where you can be truly yourself, where you can communicate, where you can express yourself, where um you don't feel like you have to portray a different perspective of who you are, right? They are absolutely necessary. We need relationships in our lives. When God created us, He actually created Adam on its own. And then He realized that He couldn't be alone. So He created Eva, or Ava, right? So to be His companion, to have a relationship with her, Eva became um, his wife, his friend, his everything. His mother, when he was sick, she was the one taking care of him. So God created relationships. God actually want us to have a relationship with Him. That's why we were created in the first place, to worship Him and to have a relationship with Him as a father and child, right? So we have to have relationships. That's part of who we are. No one can be completely alone, isolated. It's just impossible. So we have to work on our relationships. We have to work on who we are as a person. And one of the ways to identify that is by asking ourselves, what exactly is a healthy relationship? What exactly do I want to portray? What exactly to me is someone that is good to me? Now, am I being good to other people? Am I um, putting my, doing my part to create a healthy relationship? Or am I the one with the problem? Am I the one creating the conflict? So that is something we need to ask ourselves and pray the Lord. He will give us guidance. And more often than not, we have parts. Actually, we have parts in our relationship. Sometimes when relationships doesn't work, it's not about one person and now about your fault, you did this, you did that. No, it's a combination. You did something, but I also did something. Maybe you were rude and my part was letting it happen. Maybe you were disrespectful and my part was being passive about it. So we have responsibility as well when it comes to a non-healthy relationship. It's not like, oh no, it's your fault, it's my mother's fault, it's my husband's fault. It's not, no, no, no. It doesn't work like that. We both have responsibility on building, on working this relationship, this healthy relationship that we want. And relationships are hard. They're not a lot of fun. It's a full-time job. For you to have a healthy relationship, you have to really work on it. It's not gonna magically happen. It's not gonna appear overnight. No, it's something you always have to put in, right? And like I said, a healthy relationship is one where you feel safe, where you feel you can be yourself, where you don't have to stop living to please somebody else, where you can express yourself when you're angry, when you're sad, and you feel like you're hurt, right? Where you matter. That's a healthy relationship, where they show you that you matter, that you're important. So, according to the experts, you cannot have more than five truly close to you relationships. What do you mean, Iris? Only five? Yes, because they are hard work. When they say you can have only five truly important and close to your heart relationships, they refer to the people around you that are closer to you, that are always with you, that you have to work on build this relationship and make it healthy. Everything else falls into a different category. They're not your close relationships anymore, but they are part of a relationship ring, but not a close one, not the top five. It can be 3 to 5. The maximum has to be 5 to be able to work at these relationships. And even these 5 relationships become a lot for some people, right? What relationships are this? For example, if you're married, it can be your partner, or your boyfriend, your girlfriend. That's a close relationship. Then your parents, your mother, your dad, whoever raised you. That's your parent. That's another relationship. That's number 2. Then the children, those that have children, like I do. Children. That's a relationship I need to work on. And then we have friends, the close friends, those friends that become family, those friends that you call to, those friends that you call at 3 o'clock in the morning when you don't know who else to call. That's a relationship I need to work on. My job, my work, what I do for a living, working with all my clients, that's a relationship I need to work on. So when it says 5, relationship is not 5 people. It's 5 relationships. For example, my parents, they're 2 parents. So that's one relationship. Even though they're 2 of them, that's one relationship that I need to work on, but involves 2 people. My children, I have 3 children. That is one category of my 5 relationships, but there's three little different people that I need to work on. So it's a lot of work. So when we look at it, if you really want to give your 100% to these relationships, you have to have a limit. You have to know which are the priority, which are important to you. And it's very important to identify. So make sure you identify who your top 5 are. For example, let's say that I pick My husband, my children, my parents, my siblings, and my friends. What is not included here? It's my job, what I do for a living. But let's say, for example, I want to make my job into the top 5. Then one of these is going to be squeezed out. You see? If I make my job one of my top priority, then my relationship with my husband might be hurt, or with my children, or with my parents, because I can't concentrate. It's not possible to concentrate to have more than 5, 3 to 5, they say. Top main priorities where I put all my might, where this is really important to me. Something's gonna give. So just keep that in mind. Then the main base for the healthy relationships are actually what we called what we call it attachments. I drew the blank for a minute. Attachments. So our attachments are the ones that actually build or portray our relationships. If you have an attachment that is not was secure, that was insecure, that's going to portray or guide the type of relationship you're going to have. Um, the doctor that actually studied the relationships or the attachments was John Bowlby. John Bowlby states or researched that when children have insecure attachments as small people, as children from 1 to 5, that attachment actually becomes the base or the guidance of future relationships. So we have to be very careful with our children and how we relate to them. For example, there's 2 types of relationships. I mean, attachments. This is secure or insecure. The problem is that insecure attachment divides in 3 parts, right? The insecure attachment has 3 different categories, which is anxious, disorganized, and ambivalent. 3 different type of attachments that we have to keep in mind, right? And these attachments actually are the ones that our brain, our what do you call it, neurons know about. So we tend to repeat whatever we know. If you don't know something, you can't really do it. You can't really show it. You can't really work on it because you don't know about it. So since we were taught, or we were guided to have this insecure attachments, that's what we know. That's what we're going to keep repeating. So we have to know exactly what type of attachments we have so we can work on it to move it to secure attachment. The good thing about it is that even though you had insecure attachment when you were little, you can work yourself to move yourself to secure attachment. Another instance is that you might have had secure attachment with one of your parents or one of your caretakers, but you can also have insecure attachment with another caretaker, So it is possible to have both, multiple type of attachment with different caretakers when you were little. The problem with this is that the insecure attachment is the one that portrays the most. If you have more insecure attachment with people, that's what you're gonna know, that's what you're gonna remember, that's what you're gonna keep repeating. So this is the reason why we need to understand what type of attachment we have in order to, heal that, in order to work on having healthy, secure attachment. So someone with secure attachment is someone that knows their feelings. They can portray their feelings. They actually know how to express themselves. They're empathetic. They're caring, they're resilient. Someone with secure attachment go through difficulties, and even though they go through difficulties, that doesn't stop them. They keep on moving, they keep on trying in a different way, but they do actually keep moving forward. That is someone with secure attachment. They're able to communicate, they're able to be open to ideas, they are not judgmental. Usually they're really happy people that most people want to be around, because that's what you attract, right? That pretty peaceful aura. I know we all know people like that. They're like, what? Wow, she's such a nice person. You know what? Even though she's just really good, or he's really, respectful. He's a really nice person. He's always peaceful. So we know people like that. But we also know people in the other extreme, which is the people that have insecure attachment. In this case, we're going to discuss the anxious attachment. People with anxious attachment have fear of abandonment. They're clingy. There's that type of people that they always have to have people around. They don't like to leave. They don't like to be alone. They don't like to feel alone. And they're usually very anxious about things. They're fearful. Oh my God, is what's gonna happen? He's gonna leave me. She is gonna leave me. I can't let them go. This type of friends that get jealous when you're hanging out with other friends. That's someone that is anxious, right? Or ambivalent. One day you're feeling one way, the other day they're feeling another way. So that's someone with insecure attachment in the anxious or ambivalent side. The next one is the disorganized. Disorganized person or disorganized attachment is someone that acts out. They can't handle their emotions at all. They can't really, be at peace. There's always some type of conflict going on. There's always something that takes them, like, makes them fly off the handle, right? So in this case, someone with disorganized attachment, what happens is they have no way to manage or control what they feel. They say whatever comes to mind. They're usually really angry people. They're really angry about, they don't know how to control or manage. They're disorganized, right? Of who they are. They don't know who they are. They have low self-esteem. So they're usually extremes. They're either very arrogant, oh my God, that no one can stand them, or they really have this really low self-esteem, and become really angry and agitated for what seems to most people petty stuff. So that's one of the attachment, the disorganized. The last one is the avoidant type. The avoidant type, I'm gonna be honest, I was one of them. I was one of the people that once under stress, I will just go and hide into my little cocoon, not talk to anyone. You know, that is someone that has avoidant when it comes to stress, when it comes to, having difficulties, they turn to shut down, right? Um, they have low self-esteem usually, and well, most of the time. And they're actually really quiet. They don't like to put themselves out there too much. That is the avoidant type. So it's really good to know which attachment you have in order to work at it. So what I advise you to do is try to figure it out. You know what? I fall more into this category, and it's okay to fall into different categories. But guess what? One of them is going to stand out the most, and you're going to know which one it is. And that's where I come in to help you. You know, healing these attachments, healing these areas in your life is going to help you build the relationship that you want. Because who doesn't want to have a open communication in a relationship, trust, right? Sense of self. You are your own self. You don't need to be with anyone else, but you're part of a bigger picture, right? You're unique. You were created unique. God created you perfect, but you also part of the bigger picture that God created. You are important, you're unique. So it's really good to have the sense that, I can be my own person, but at the same time, I'm part of a whole. I'm not just me wandering the world on my own. What I have is something that someone else needs. And what someone has is probably what I need. We complement each other, but we're also perfectly fine on our own. So that's something we need to keep in mind. healthy relationships. In a healthy relationship, there's a lot of fun. You laugh, you joke around, and there's people that you right now are coming to mind that you feel like you can truly be yourself. Then that's a healthy relationship. And sometimes, not because they're your parents or your family members, it means that's a healthy relationship there. No, more often than not, that's not the case. The good thing about it is that you can work on yourself on not being part of that relationship that is not good or that is that toxic. I don't like to call anything toxic because to me, toxic is something that is dead. You can't fix it. Once you go through a toxic situation, you drink poison, something's gonna give, right? So I don't like to use that word, but everybody uses it out there. So that's what it means. A toxic relationship. I think everything can be fixed if you really put your work on it. If you really want to change, God can help you to change. So in a healthy relationship, there's teamwork, there's intimacy, there's respect, right? There's a conflict resolution. All relationships are gonna have conflict. Nothing is gonna be, in a pink bubble that everything is gonna be perfect and fine. No, that's why relationships are hard. And that is true for all type of relationships. Even at your job, sometimes you're gonna have conflict. With your children, you're gonna have conflict. With your parents, you're gonna have conflict. So it's good to have the conflict resolution where we can sit down. So two people with secure attachment, can sit down and talk about the conflict and resolve it. I didn't like the way you did this, so I think we're gonna have to find a new way to do it. The other person, if they have secure attachment, they're gonna understand and probably apologize and say, you know what, yeah, do you think we can do it another way? What other way? What other ideas do you have? So working out the conflict. Another thing that is a healthy relationship is you are, respected. Someone that is not respecting you as a person, as a human being, and as a part of this relationship, then that's a red flag. There's something you need to talk about. And if it's not resolved, then there's something you need to do regards to that, because you need to be respected. You need to be loved the same way you are loving the other person. So let's make sure we're not actually adding to unhealthy relationships. And how do we do that? Well, identifying the stuff that we do that might add to that unhealthy relationship. When you start to work on yourself, when you start to take care of yourself, everything else starts falling into place, right? Because people that truly love you are going to see that you're working hard to become this better person. And they're going to they're going to push you to continue to go further. They're going to help you get where you want to be. And usually, once you start working on yourself and you see that, and people around you see that it's working now, they're going to follow through. They're gonna want to do what you're doing. They're gonna want to be in the level that you want to be, that you are at the point, right? So whatever you do influences others. Whatever you do with yourself definitely influences others. Even when you don't think someone's watching or no one's watching, trust me, someone's watching you. Someone is looking at you and saying, you know what? She's doing great. I really want to be able to handle that conflict that way. You know what? I really like his attitude. He's always have a smile in his face, no matter what happens. You know what? That person has a really positive vibe to them. I want to be close to that person. So yes, people are watching. So let's start identifying what we do sometimes to contribute to an unhealthy relationship. And some of those them things are want to control or change the other person. You can't do that. You can always change yourself. You can't control other people because you don't own them. You don't own them, not even your children. Your children are meant to be with you for a period of time. Then they're supposed to grow and be independent on their own. Yes, they're still part of your life, but they're their own little self that they need to find themselves, right? It's good to always be there for them, but you also have to let them grow and spread their wings. That goes for the children, for the husband, the partner, your wife. You can't be controlling. No, no, no. You have to let them be. They're unique on their own. Yes, their happiness and your happiness combine, and you both bring happiness to the relationship. You both make a commitment to build this relationship between the two of you and build this beautiful thing that is gonna go on for years. But it's each person individually, right? So stop controlling. Another thing that we do to contribute to unhealthy relationships is disrespect the other person. Yes, if you don't like something to be done to you, why are you doing it to somebody else? Exactly. Think about it. If you don't like something to do to you, why are you doing it to somebody else with no disrespecting, no name calling? You can get angry, you can get mad. That's natural emotion, right? You have to be able to manage that anger, though. You have to be able to manage and watch what you say to people you love. Because sometimes when we're angry, you say things that then you later regret. So before you go there, know yourself. Know when you're getting to a point that you're going to lose control and step away. Ask for a minute. You know what? Right now, we can't keep discussing this. Please give me a minute. I promise we'll get back to it later when I'm a little more calmed down. The other person should understand and stop going at it over and over and over to get you to a point, a boiling point, right? So it's a two-way street. But at the same time, if the other person doesn't want to stop, you can walk away. Don't stay there if you know you're gonna fly off the handle. Why? Because then you're gonna regret it. So let's make sure we're gonna respect each other's, respect each other's boundaries. We have our own boundaries, that you shouldn't be crossing disrespect to me, name calling, mistreating me, whatever it is. So let's respect that. Um, let's see what else. People that don't spend too much time together. That's a red flag. Why? Because relationships uh build in intimacy. What is intimacy? Spend time together. I've seen people that go out to eat when I go to restaurants and they don't even talk to each other. They're on their phones. They're looking at their phones. They're looking down. They're not even talking to each other. They're outside. They're eating. They're on a date night with their phones. So we got to be mindful of that. We have to build intimacy. Intimacy actually touching, feeling, hugging, all that activates serotonin, which is the happiness neuron. So let's start touching, let's start caring, let's start hugging others, right? Because sometimes one little touch can send all this good dopamine to your brain, which makes you happy instantly. So hug our children, our parents, friends. I know with COVID it's a little hard, but that should not prevent you from patting someone in the back. All right. So let's be intimate. Another thing is when you feel unequal, or when you're negative, you know, in a relationship, we both have to put in same amount of effort. I can't be doing 80% and you do 20%. No, I have a friend that I'm always the only one calling and calling and calling, and she never even reach out to see how I'm doing on my kids. Eventually, I'm gonna stop calling because she's not caring as much as I am for her. So it's not a relationship built on equality. So we have to be mindful of that. Are you the person that your parents always have to call you, or your parents always have to reach out to you? Your husband always have to look for you, always trying to make the date nights? Or are you the type of husband that your wife has to do it all in the house? Your wife has to take care of the children while you sit down watching TV instead of helping out. So let's be mindful of that. And with that note, I just want to close saying that it is possible to have healthy relationships. And once we identify what type of attachment we have, we can work to move that attachment to a secure attachment. It is possible. That's the beauty of it. Our brain can actually grow new neurons. We can change our brains. God created us to be changing. We're not static in one stage. He wants us to continue growing and becoming more like Jesus and becoming better people and have better relationships, to love one another, to love Him, and then to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. How beautiful is that? So let's continue to do that. Like you know, all know, no, Naja, you're here my channel. Please pass this video. I'm a life coach. If you ever need any help, any assistance, if you feel stuck somewhere, some part of your life, just give us a call. We can help you get past that roadblock that you have hit, and usually start by going to the beginning, healing that part of you that needs to be healed, and then moving forward to the life God wants you to live. God bless you all. You take care. See you next time.